Magoye River once used to be one of the most economically viable sources of water in the Magoye sub-basin, whose size is between 2,000 and 2,300 square kilometers. It is generally in the Kafue catchment in southern Zambia. The river is about 170 kilometers long from the headwaters in Pemba to the Kafue flats around Mwanajingwala area. The river has been serving about 115,000 crop and livestock farmers from about 400 villages. Unfortunately, the continuous flow of the river has since the last 1970s been disturbed due to human interference. Some of the major causes of the disturbances in the flows could be attributed to spatially distributed dams on the upstream, where we can find about 50 dams which mostly do not have outlet valves that can promote outflows for environmental flows on the downstream. This has created an imbalance in terms of water availability between the upper part of the catchment and the lower part of the catchment. And the lower part of the catchment has been completely affected by the drying up of the river during most parts of the year. Sand mining is the major contributor to the drying up of the river, as a huge burden of sediment accumulates on the riverbed. It traps the water which should otherwise have been flowing. Having done investigation, it was found that water could actually be found about 4 meters below the surface of the sediment burden. As viable economic activities continue to decline, people are now resorting to extra measures of cutting the banks to create motor vehicle roads so as to access building sand and stones, which eventually disturb the habitats for microorganisms such as invertebrates. Other notable sources of disturbance include brick molding and burning, excess groundwater pumpage, which is one of the major causes of lack of flows in the river, because flows in the river are more dependent upon base flow, which is a function of groundwater. Gardening has been one of the major sources of concern as far as the degradation of the buffer zones of the river is concerned. It was found by the team of researchers from White Lodge Consultants that there are actually over 600 gardens just within the buffer zone. And according to the SI1 of 2000, a buffer zone is a 50 meters radius from the boundary of any water body. The huge burden of sediment that is accumulated on the Magoye riverbed is actually a major source of concern as far as the stability of the Kafue River ecosystem is concerned, because all the sediment that is transported in the Magoye ends up in the Kafue River, thus causing a threat to biodiversity and also the flora around the Kafue River. The question that we must be asking ourselves is, what should then be done? There is need for more scientific research to be done in order to inform policy decision. There is need to provide alternative means of livelihood, given that most of the degradation in the catchment are due to human activities, and there is need to regulate the anthropogenic pumpage of groundwater, which is highly suffocated, thus rendering the river flowless. For these and many more updates, please do like White Lodge Consultants, as we will be explaining about the Lusito River, one of the highly silted rivers in the country. This is White Logic, perfecting the standards.